Good morning, I'm Eric. Today, we'll have a brief practice and be working with some body awareness and breath awareness. And I'd like to begin with just a brief reading by Donna Falls. It's called Breath of Life. I breathe in all that is, awareness expanding to take everything in, as if my heart beats the world into being. From the unnamed vastness beneath the mind, I breathe my way to wholeness and healing. Inhalation, exhalation, each breath a yes and a letting go, a journey and a coming home. Let's begin with just 3 slow, deep breaths, relaxing on each exhale. Coming into the body, into this present moment with each breath. And now just inviting the body to relax, starting with the head, the top of the head, the forehead, the brow, the face, the jaw, the throat, the neck, the shoulders. We invite to soften, soothe, relax. An invitation to just rest for the next few minutes. Inviting the shoulders, the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, and hips to soften, soothe, relax. Inviting the shoulders, the arms, and the hands to soften, soothe, relax. The neck, the chest, the belly, the hips, soften, soothe, relax. The hips, the thighs, the knees, the calves, the shins, the ankles, the feet, the toes. Soften, soothe, relax. And now just bringing attention to sound. Noticing sound as it contacts the ear. And noticing smell as the air flows through the nose. And noticing taste, moisture in the mouth, dryness in the mouth, any lingering taste there. And noticing, even if your eyes are closed, patterns in the eyes, colors, shapes. And now shifting the attention to the body itself. So the senses that we've just touched remain in the background, kind of floating by like clouds, but our foreground attention is just resting on sensations in the body. Just noticing as they come and go. Whether pleasant or unpleasant, just allow them to be as they are. Just resting. So for the next couple minutes, there's nothing really to do or accomplish, no problem to solve. And we can just rest in the sensation of the breath now in the belly, just feeling the sensation of the belly rising and falling. Allowing the breath all the way in and all the way out through sensation in the belly. Just resting in the sensation of the breath in the belly. And now bringing the attention up into the chest area, into the heart, and we'll close with a few words of kindness towards ourselves and towards the world to support a more compassionate stance, more compassionate kindness towards our own mind and towards the world at large. Just allow these words to settle into the heart and do what they may. May I be happy and joyful in this moment. May I be healthy in mind, healthy in body, healthy in spirit. May I know inner peace and outer peace. May I be free from suffering and free from the causes of suffering. Now we just radiate out this quality to all beings on this planet and beyond. May all beings be happy and joyful. May all beings be healthy in mind, healthy in body, healthy in spirit. May all beings know inner peace and outer peace. May all beings be free from suffering and free from the systemic causes of suffering. May it be so. And may we take this quality of being and knowing whatever benefit we have and share it in all our relationships today, touching into this quality when maybe things are difficult, and bringing kindness into our relationships and actions today towards ourselves and all beings. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. That was just wonderful. And I was struck by your request to extend kindness to ourselves. And I'm just realizing that that is just not at the forefront of my thought pretty much ever. I may extend kindness to others, but it almost never occurs to me to do the same to myself. So thank you for that. And thank you for calling for that. I think that's huge work that we all are called to do. So if you're joining us now, I'm Reverend G, minister at the Unitarian Universalist Community Church. Our physical building is on Shaver Road in Portage. And I just know that soon we will be back in person and we will celebrate together again in our physical space. Although I'm pretty sure we will maintain an online presence as well. And before I begin my talk, I'm also overwhelmed with gratitude for all those who are contributing to our services becoming a reality. It's Steve and Miriam and Pat and Regina and Eric and Nick. Without you, this just wouldn't happen. It certainly wouldn't happen so seamlessly. And you always give of yourselves and of your time and of your love and of your kindness and care. So freely, so graciously, and grateful me. Thank you for that. So today, the topic is in grief, because it is Memorial Day. And this is the day that is a federal holiday. We remember all those in the armed services who have paid the ultimate price for this country. And we have deep gratitude for their service, for their sacrifice. We hold close their beloveds who are mourning, who've lost them. And this year, it's also maybe heavier than in years prior, because the world around us has changed. And it isn't true that just the world around us has changed. The world inside us has changed due to this COVID pandemic, where to date, 500,094 Americans have lost their life to COVID, and worldwide, 3,500,019,175 people. 3 million, it's a big number. So in a short period of time, so many people have died, and it's not just that they died, but many of them died in complete isolation. And so the loved ones didn't get a chance to say goodbye. That left a mark. So on top of just the regular grief of losing a loved one, there's the added heaviness of not even being able to be there and hold the hand of the one passing. There's a sense of closure that is missing. Then imagine the healthcare providers who are the last ones to see these people before they cross over, and the heaviness they carry. We've seen them on TV speaking in tears about having to see these people through, and they would hold iPads and iPhones and to their faces so the family members could see them. It left a mark on the healthcare providers. We've all been affected, touched by this. By now, most of us know someone who has succumbed to this illness, but definitely know someone who lost someone to this illness. So we're in grief. We're all in grief. And grief is the loss of something or someone. So it's not just when there is death in the family, but the loss of a marriage, we call that divorce. The loss of a way of life. The loss of a job, we call that unemployment. The loss of a relationship, we call that a breakup. The loss of something. And we've lost a lot. We've lost physical closeness, physical touch. We lost togetherness, companionship, loss of routine. We had to completely change our lives. I believe that, remember, like airports before 9/11? I think we're going to say, do you remember life before COVID? Do you remember that back then we still used to shake hands? We used to hug. And probably we will go back to hugging. There will be some physical expression towards each other. But I think it will be different. It probably won't be quite so willing and quite so widely spread as we used to. Maybe we will just hug those who we know that are safe, those who we know that have been vaccinated, or those who are really, really close to us. And with the others, we'll relate differently. A lot has been lost, has been changed, and has shifted. So there's a lot that we need to process. And then how do we process? And of course, the question is, and this is the American way, right? Get over it. How do we get over it? So first of all, it's too soon to ask that question, because at this point, even though things are looking better in this country, we're still not over it. We're still in the throes of it, hopefully at the tail end, but we don't know that. This is a novel virus. It has surprised us before, it may surprise us again. By golly, if we look at the news, we see that India is really bad. Parts of Asia are really, 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 really bad. So we hold them closely, and well, of course, we wish them well, and we hope that they will get it under control very, very soon. So this notion of getting over it, which is the American way, I want to speak to that, because that implies that getting over it is a winnable thing. Get over a change of life, a change of routine, losing a loved one is doable. So there was a professor, James Carse, and he spoke of two kinds of games: the finite game and the infinite game. So different rules apply, obviously, to both games. The finite game has known players and known rules. And you play the game for a period of time, a limited period of time, and somebody, the goal of playing the game is for somebody to win. And if somebody wins, then there's always a loser. So think of soccer, think of football, think of tennis. Somebody wins, somebody loses. There's known number of players, the rules are known, they're respected, and the goal is for somebody to win and for somebody to lose. This is the finite game. The infinite game has any number of players, not known number of players, which means new players can be introduced at any moment in time. The rules are fluid, not known, and the goal isn't to win or to lose, it is to stay in the game for the benefit and betterment of the whole. That's the infinite game. That's what life is. Infinite game. Now the problem is when we apply the rules of the finite game to the infinite game. So if we apply rules of finite game, which means that we square things away, there's a winner and there's a loser, and we want to apply that to the infinite game, which is life, it means that if I don't square away grief, I'm the loser. If I don't get over it, if I don't fix it, if I don't figure it out right away, or in a certain period of time, or at all, then I am a loser. Then I'm not playing this game right. Applying the rules of finite game to life, to the infinite game, produces a life of misery, of judgment, and please remember that judgment demands punishment. Let me repeat this to you. Judgment demands punishment. In fact, I'm sure you've noticed that often families, marriages break up over the death of a child. And it's not because the child died. It's because the parents judge each other's grief. And because we don't all grieve the same way, then we judge the other one and we tell stories like, oh, I guess they're over their grief already. I guess they didn't love the child as much as I did, or siblings can do this over the loss of a parent, or you name it. They just don't love them the same way. And then there comes the punishment, because judgment demands punishment. In the infinite game, there's a lot of allowing. The rules are fluid, And the goal is to stay in the game for the betterment, for the improvement of the whole, So as we process our grief, I hope that we go within, as Eric suggested, just go within and just notice. And notice, how do we do it? And are we falling into the trap of applying finite rules to the infinite game? And then if we do, then just forgive ourselves. Extend that kindness to ourselves. Let go and shift. And then life becomes about allowing. And it is no longer about winning or losing, but more about being ahead or being behind. So we can look at our lives and then just say, today I'm ahead. And yesterday I was a little bit behind. So what? I'm part of this infinite game. The goal is to stay in it as long as possible for the betterment of the whole. That's what life is. So I want to tell you a story. This man dies, and he knocks on St. Peter's gate. The door opens. There's St. Peter, welcomes this man. And he says, okay, I am going to show you two possibilities. So he takes this man, our man, into this room, and it's a huge hall, and there's this very long table, and the smells are just, oh, amazing. Our man could tell that the meal that is served here is just incredible. Everything just smelled so scrumptious, wonderful. His mouth started watering right away. So he walks into this room, and there's this long table, and indeed, there's all kinds of delicious food on this table, and there's people sitting around this table, and they all look gaunt, famished, and just sad, miserable. And every person has a spoon. But the spoon is 4 feet long. So it's so long that they scoop the food, but they can't bring it to their mouth because the spoon is so long. So there they are, starving next to a fully loaded, beautiful table, wonderful food. So St. Peter tells our man, this is hell. Now come with me. He takes him to another room, same setup, smells scrumptious, beautiful. All these people sitting around this table, spoons just as long as in hell, but everybody's happy, they're talking, and they look well fed. And then our man notices that it's true, they also can feed themselves, but they figured it out that they can feed each other with the long spoon. That is the rules to the infinite game. To live in community, to take care of each other. Our man says, St. Peter tells our man, this is heaven. The rules to heaven, the way of heaven is to take care of one another. Grief wants to be witnessed. And that's how we witness each other's grief. We sit with each other. We offer each other that which we have. Sometimes tears, sometimes laughter, sometimes complete silence. That's the best we can do or all we can have. But we are in community, taking care of one another. There's another impulse, and that is to say, why am I so sad? Look at them. They've lost so much more. I have no right. Of course, the way of my life has changed too, but they lost jobs, they lost homes, they lost people to this COVID. I have no right to my sadness, to my grief. They are so much worse off. Well, let me tell you, the worst pain is always yours. The worst pain is always yours. This is the only pain that you're able to experience. That one you witness. This one you experience. So discrediting yourself because you're comparing yourself with someone else is neither helpful nor healthy. It leads nowhere. There's no healing in that. And furthermore, if you discredit your own pain, it means you're not allowing yourself to feel the loss, to feel the pain. And if you can't feel it, you can't heal it. If you can't feel it, you can't heal it. My other pet peeve is this. Well, this COVID is the best thing that could have ever happened to me because I learned this, that, and the other. So, can we just have the lesson without glorifying the pain, without glorifying the loss? Can we just say that pain, death, suffering, it just happens? It's the way of it. Death happens. It's part of our existence. I can not be grateful for it, but I can be grateful that I chose to learn something from it, that I chose to find meaning, and not meaning in the death. The meaning is for me. The meaning is for me. So what meaning are we going to find, or are we finding? I don't know. And I don't know that it has to happen now. But I think at some point we will reach that stage of grief where we seek meaning and find meaning. And that shall come when it comes. Not a moment sooner, not a moment later. And if it hasn't come yet, it doesn't mean that we're losers. It doesn't mean that we don't know how to process. It just means that we're playing this infinite game where the rules are fluid, where we don't know how things unfold. Our goal is to stay in it, to learn, to cope, to take care of one another, take care of ourselves, and stay in this game for the betterment, for the benefit of the whole. So if you walk away with anything today, please remember, there's an infinite game and there's a finite game. Life is an infinite game. Do not accidentally apply the rules of the finite game to the infinite game. And take care of each other. Be gentle. Be kind. Take care of yourself. Be gentle. Be kind. Feed one another. Be with one another. Feel the grief so we may heal it. And then meaning shall come. We'll find meaning, but not in the tragedy. We'll find meaning in the aftermath of the tragedy. Meaning not in the loss, but because of the loss. And we are called to do this in community, in kindness, in love with one another. remember, heaven is taking care of each other. And in that, we're also being taken care of. So I hold all of us in gentleness. We've lost people in our congregation. These are friends we haven't been able to lay eyes on in a long time. Family. We've lost friends. We've lost acquaintances. So may we tread gently, kindly around each other. May we hold each other in love, in compassion, in community. And so it is.